20 years ago, on this very day, was a very tragic moment for our history here in America. It was the day where we never thought, it just seemed like a normal day for Americans, and it happened. Planes were hijacked and they came into our territory and they blew up the Twin Towers. Now I say this because it's such a historical moment for our country. It's something that we want to hold on to still. And to anyone that's watching this, I'm gonna speak to the believers here in a second. Anyone who believes in Christ, anyone who believes in the same power that is inside of me, is inside of you, the same power that is inside of all of us. This day 20 years ago was a tragic moment for individuals, for families. I mean, when that happened, firefighters were giving up their lives to go into those towers because they were burning hot. It was burning hot fire. It caused a lot of people to die. Not everybody could be saved. And like I said, a lot of firefighters gave up their lives. And if one dropped dead, they all still went in and they tried to save as many people as possible. It was such a devastating moment for our nation. I've been reading through Luke, and when I was reading through Luke 21, guys, this is not the only time that we're going to be attacked. Of course, we're seeing all around the world, it looks like possibly there will be another attack on the US or another world war, they might say. But this is exactly what Jesus was talking about. Jesus talks about persecution, and this is something for not just us, but our nation. Things are going to happen around the world. In Luke 21, verse 10, and he said to them, "Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be great earthquakes, and in various places famines and pestilences, and there will be terrors and great signs from heaven. But before all of this, they will lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and prisons, and you will be brought before kings and governors for my name's sake. This will be your opportunity to bear witness." And he's saying, as we just read at the top, that nations will rise against nations, which is funny because it's in Matthew where Jesus also talks about persecution. So here it is in Matthew 24, verse 6. Look at this. Hear this. This is amazing. "You will hear wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, for this must take place, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places, and all these are but the beginning of the birth pains. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and put you to death, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many will fall away and betray one another and hate one another, and many false prophets will arise and lead many astray. And because lawlessness will be increased, the love of many will grow cold, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. The gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come." So I don't know if you could tell, but in both passages in Luke and Matthew, Jesus talks about persecution. We all know September 11th is such a big day. It's such a honorable and historical day. But I hope you caught that Jesus was talking about more than just what happened here on September 11th, 20 years ago. Jesus is talking about more persecution. And if you recognize, it said that brothers, everyone will hate, they'll go against one another, they'll betray one another, and they'll hate each other. And we see that all around the United States and all over the world. People are hating each other. And we see nation against nation. And if you heard it said wars and rumors of wars, there's so many rumors that are talking about World War III, rumors of wars. Don't you see how all of this lines up with the Bible? This is persuading us to come closer to Christ because he's telling us what's going to happen. But do not be afraid, because listen to this right here in verse 25 of Luke 21. "And there will be signs in sun and moon and stars, and on the earth distress of nations and perplexity, because of the roaring of seas and waves, people fainting with fear and with foreboding of what is coming on the world. For the power of heaven will be shaken. And then they will see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. When these things begin to take place, straighten up and raise up your heads, because your redemption is drawing near. When persecution comes, when all of these signs of all these bad things happen, he's saying, do not be alarmed, because this is what's supposed to happen. You can hear all the time when Jesus talks about the coming of the end of the age. He says, do not be afraid. Do not be alarmed, for these things have to happen. So when we see these signs around the world, when we see it on social media, Jesus is saying this is what's supposed to happen. And you can see that when these things happen, right after it happens, Jesus is going to come down and he is going to give his believers, his followers, the redemption. He's going to take us up to heaven, but it's our part to make sure that we stand firm on Christ. Are we remembering 9/11? It's such a historical moment for our country, but are we also remembering that this is not going to be the only time we're going to be persecuted? We see it all around the U.S., just small bite-sized portions of persecution and rumors of wars and wars coming to the United States, coming all over the world. Jesus was not just talking about Israel. He was talking about the entire world. So yes, we're going to be persecuted. Yes, this is not going to be the end of when we're going to be hurt, when diseases will come. We already know about a disease that came, and probably more will happen, and there'll be earthquakes. Are we going to be encouraged to know that us as believers will be brought up to heaven one day with Jesus, and there'll be no more tears, no more sickness, no more pain? Paul says that it's for me to live as Christ and to die as gain. Why does he say die as gain? Because when you die as a believer, you're going to see Jesus. In Jude 23, if you tell us to snatch people out of the fire, are we telling as many people as possible to come out of the flame, to stop running to the cliff and start running to Jesus, where one day when they die, they will also see Jesus face to face, and they'll be in great reward. My name is Luke from TheGospelHouse Ministries, and let's remember today about 9/11, but let's also remember that Jesus says, in this world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world.